The offseason is a scary time for an RLCS player. They have to think about what team they're going to create. Can they get an organization to sign them? Will they get a good coach? And answering each of these questions is largely dependent on their performance of the previous season. So today, we're going to delve into which player's stock rose the most in 2025. Now, you'll see on the left here that it's a top 15 list. I wanted to talk about so many players. I couldn't make it a top 5. I needed at least 15. I could have made it longer, but I ramble too much for that. But let's just get right into it so it's not too crazy long here. 15 is someone who made quite the comeback this season. That is Radosin. He started split 1 with Gentlemates, which was pretty lackluster. They didn't make the Birmingham major. They were kind of on the outside looking in for qualifying for that major, and so Radosin was kicked, and he actually took split 2 completely off. I'm pretty sure he did not play at all. And then by the last chance qualifier, he joined up with Nas and Oski in replacing Itachi, which when you think about it on paper, you definitely think Itachi is better, but Radosin really showed why he's a world champ with Zen and Alpha 54. Because he was able to unlock Nas and Oski and show the reason why they're both super good players. They made top 8 at Worlds after beating Gentlemates in the last chance qualifier. They beat Vitality at Worlds, which is insane. And so Radosin, in my eyes, his stock rose a lot. And I hope he gets a good season for 2026. A good roster for 2026. I believe right now it's him, Mitzer, and I forget the third. Someone remind me in the comments. But we'll get into number 14 here. And actually, we're going to reveal 13 and 14 at the same time because they're kind of similar here. This is Scribbles and Reveal. They both were on Space Station Gaming this season. And 2024, actually, let's go a little further back. 2024, they were on Snowman. And so they showed signs of promise, but not the next level. And then in 2025, split 1, they get second in the first regional, bomb out of the second regional. And then the third one, they do well, but not well enough to qualify for the major. So they miss out. And then obviously they make a roster change, which actually we'll talk about here soon. And they make the second major and make Worlds and EWC and everything. And they showed why they were picked up by Space Station. They are a young, promising core who have now proved that they can compete with the best. Unfortunately, Scribbles has retired at 15, which is odd for a player whose stock just rose, but I think you want to focus on school and stuff. That's fine. But to them, their stock really, really rose. So if Scribbles comes back, I think he can get a good team. Reveal obviously is still on Space Station Gaming with now Diaz and Chronic, which should be interesting. I think that's actually rumored. I don't know if that's official. But number 12 here, we'll get into that. This is someone who was in MENA. This is Atomic. Atomic playing with Nupo and Rise on Twisted Minds. They got top 8 at the first major. They did beat Falcons in one of the regionals. And then at Birmingham major, they made top 6, reverse sweeping Carmine Corp. And at Worlds, they didn't make the top 8, but still a good season overall here. I think especially for Atomic, proving that he can play with the best. That reverse sweep against Carmine Corp was probably the best I've ever seen Atomic. He was playing super well, getting touches that no one else could get, and setting up his teammates, which I think was essential to allowing Nupo to play his game to allow them to win that series. So to me, again, Atomic's stock really, really rose. Unfortunately, I think his current roster for EU is not super good. I believe he's playing with Tox and Raziers. I might have one player wrong there, but at least one of those is right. And so he's more on the outside looking in for that major spot. I wish he was on a better team. I think he deserves to be, in my opinion. But there's lots of really, really good players. As you can see, he's number 12 on this list. So we'll see. Number 11, though, is the third member of Space Station Gaming, Kofer, who is actually now on Shopify Rebellion with First Killer, and LJ, which definitely shows how much his stock has risen. He started off 2025 with Chicago and Hoxer taking the place of LJ, which is hard shoes to fill, but I think he did a really, really good job. I think they made a top 4 and didn't do so well the rest of Split 1. But then Kofor joins Space Station Gaming, and it's just history from then on, right? They make every major from then on. They make top 8 at Worlds. They get reverse swept by Vitality, but they had a good showing. I'm trying to think who else they beat. They beat Gen G, and then they beat Secret to make top 8. So a pretty good run from them. Kofor looking really, really good. I'm excited to see him with LJ and First Killer. Should be interesting. I kind of wish he had stayed with the reveal, but we'll see how 2026 goes. It's going to be interesting. Number 10 here, we're going to talk about another EU player, Eugen. His stocks, he started off with Start Point, I think, in Split 1. And when Radosin was kicked from General Mates, Eugen took his place because he was having a really, really good Split 1. And it didn't change in Split 2. He actually just got better. I think Eversax was a super good coach for him who really helped him unlock his game and play super well. This allowed General Mates to get to that second major in Rally where they actually make top 8. They beat Ultimates at that major. They beat, I forget who else, but they made top 8 going 3-1 in the Swiss, I believe. So Eugen playing super well. He actually seemed really comfortable on land, which I think is essential to players wanting to pick him up, right? Now actually it might be Eugen, Radosin, and Mitzer as a roster for next season. That might be the third. I'm not entirely sure on that. I gotta look, but we'll see. Number 9 though is going to be a South American player. What color am I making them? Because they can't be red. We'll make it orange. South American player. This is Swift. His stock definitely rose a lot. Now they lost to Furia in every single regional except for one, but Furia did have some pretty intense connection issues. But then at both majors, the last 2 majors, meaning Rally, EWC, and Worlds, Team Secret played better than Furia. And a big reason for that was Swift. I think he was the best one on the team throughout the whole season. At different points, KV1 and Mata took that spot, but I think Swift overall had that spot for Team Secret, and now he is headed to Furia with Yan and Lost, I believe. And I mean, he deserves the spot. Personally, I wish he would have stayed with Team Secret. I think they've been playing super well. I mean, they've been playing better than Furia, so might as well stick it out. But I still think it's deserving, and probably the salary's better. I don't know. But his stock, in my eyes, rose a lot. I'm excited to see him and the rest of South America continue to improve. But we'll get into number 8. This is gonna be Nupo. Let's make this a little darker. Which one was it? I forget. This one? I think it was this one. Yeah. So Nupo, we knew already that he was a really, really good player. That's why he's not like top 3 on this list, because he was with Twisted Minds. Sorry, no, this is his first full season with Twisted Minds. Last season, I think he was Rule 1 for some of it, and then, you know, stuff happened. He's kicked from that, but he played super well with less than good teammates. They were good teammates, but not good enough to really make a huge impact on LAN. But Nubo, having Atomic and Rise beside him, really fully unlocked him. And at some points in the season, he was competing for that #1 player in the world. Not consistently enough to be in the conversation right now, but he definitely has the potential to be that. He plays super fast, super mechanical, and he won the 1v1 World Championship against Moxie, which is super impressive. And so his stock definitely rose, and he is now playing with TRK and Monkey Moon, which is insane. And I think they have potential to do super well, especially TRK on that team. I think TRK and Nupo in the 2v2 series, maybe if they play together, could be interesting, guys. But yeah, stock risen, number 8 on this list for me. And then another MENA player. This is Clears. Clears, obviously already a great player. Last year, they made a final. They made consistently top 4s, top 6s. Won every single regional except for one in these past 2 years. But then he just took another huge leap. His defense got way better. His offense was scary. He was really good at beating 2 players. And that's the reason why they won a major this year. They won the Birmingham major. Sorry, Rally major. I keep mixing them up. And played super, super well. And I'm excited to see Clears with Drally. I think it should be interesting. Clears, again, I mean, his stock just rose a lot, even though he was already a great player, which doesn't happen often. If you notice here, the rest of this list, except for maybe Radosin, these are all players that like hadn't proven themselves yet. Clears had already proven himself and then got way better, which is not common. But we'll get to number 6 here. This is Oli. Oli was on GK this season. They had the miracle run in split 1 to qualify for the first major. They didn't qualify for the second major. And then at EWC in Worlds, they played out of their mind. And a big reason for that was Oli. When Oli is on it, when he's confident, when he's unafraid to go for the ball and go for some mechanical play, GK plays super, super well. And that's, I think he's the reason, besides another player we're going to talk about. Let me rephrase that. He's one of the big reasons why GK had so much success, because Oli proved that he can be that player who can kind of pull his team along to a victory. He had his famous stint with the Batmobile. I'm kind of sad it went away, but top 4 at Worlds, I understand why you're using the Fennec. So Oli, I believe, is now teaming up with Jorias, and it's Oli, Jorias, and a third, but I forget who the third is, but they're being picked up by NIP. So should be lots of fun. We'll get into number 5 here, which is another EU player. This is Nas, the former Ninjas in Pajamas player. Nas had been unproven for a while now. Last year, 2024, on M80, didn't go super well, constantly making top 8s in their region. He was in North America at the time, and then bombing out, right? Nas, though, is consistently like number 1 on the 2s and 1s leaderboard. He grinds for it all the time. We know that he had the ability, but he could never convert it to 3s until Radosin came along. When Radosin came along, Nas looked super comfortable, super good, super mechanical, like we knew he was, able to just pull off plays that no one else can. And so his stock up to number 5 on this list, because before it was like we knew he had it, but he couldn't do it in 3s. And now he's proved he can do it, making a top 8 at Worlds, only losing to Carmine Corp in 6. They actually took down Vitality on the way, him and Radosin. And so Nas, number 5 on this list. We'll get into number 4 now. This is going to be Jorias. Jorias, similar situation to Nas almost, because Jorias and Nas were teamed last year on M80 and could not make it out of the semifinals ever. So they didn't qualify for a single major. But Jorias proved that he has the mechanical ability to compete with anybody. He can do the same things as the best players in the world. He can pull off whatever Zen can do. Whatever Zen can do, Jorias can do too. If you remember, he had that little run with the Chiefs, the OCE team at EWC last year, and that kind of kept him in the conversation here, like, oh, he's still good, but not the best. And then him with Dignitas, though, another level. Honestly, I loved watching him in the finals against Falcons at the Rally Major, because he played super well. He played out of his mind. They still lost, but Jorias was super good and lots of fun to watch. But you'll see common trend with Dignitas as we go up this list here, because this, well, not Dignitas yet here, but another player on GK, Archie. absolutely shot up the rankings for me. Now, obviously, Archie making top 6 with Oski and Joyo last season at Worlds after they weren't even supposed to be at Worlds. But Archie this season was, I said Oli was a big reason why they succeeded. When Oli's on top of it and confident, they play super well. When Archie is on top of it, it just doesn't matter what the other team does because he's going to save everything. He's going to push the team forward and he's going to keep their heads in it. I think he showed his leadership throughout the season, keeping them confident, keeping them mentally in the games, which allowed them to get top 4 at Worlds by the end of it, where they lost to NRG, but I don't think anyone was beating NRG that day. So Archie stocks up to number 3 on this list. He is now teaming up with, on Gentlemates, with, who is it? Oh, with Oski and Ness. So it's going to be Oski, Ness, and Archie, which I'm super excited for. I think if you're going to replace Radosin, who unlocked Oski and Ness, Archie is the person to do it. So good choice by them. I'm excited to see them on Gentlemates next season. But we're going to get into, apparently, Jack. Jack was good before. This is another player that I already knew was really, really good, similar to Kalir's. We knew he was really, really good. He's been playing well for a while now, but I feel like he took it to another level again. He has been grinding the game, grinding new mechanics, obviously looking into how the game is played. That Dignitas team, if you want to see a team that has a game plan, it's them, right? Actually, let's just reveal number 1 here because it's Stizzy, right? The last Dignitas player. Let's finish with Jack here. But Jack taking it to another level. Dude was at points the best player on that team. I think he's a top 10, maybe even 5 in Europe player. And I know we called that touch you do with the car, with the back of the car of the Fennec, if that makes sense. The Zen touch, if you're familiar with that. We should be calling it the Appjack touch because he does it all the time for all his touches and he's super consistent at it and it's amazing. So that's why he's number 2 for me, because when he's moving, dude, he is moving. And this season he was moving a lot. That's honestly the best way I can describe it, which is not a super good way to describe it, but it just, I don't know, he blew my mind this season and I can't fully explain it, but for him, for me, his stocks are way up and he is now teaming up with Joyo and Seiko next season, which is going to be super fun. And then Stizzy, number 1 for me. Last year, not super good in NA. He goes back to Europe to play with Jack and Jorias, and first regional, not very good. Super nervous, playing really bad, own goaling, letting things in that he should not have. And then dude just went full beast mode, right? He is that player that when he's on the ball, the other team is scared because he can pull off things just like Zen can do, just like TRK, just like beast mode, right? Any of them, he can do it, right? And so for him, stocks has risen the most out of any of these players for me. And so the rumor right now, basically confirmed, is that he is going to Vitality with Zen and Exotic, which I think is a super good choice. I think if you're going to pick up a player, he is the most sought after free agent of this offseason, in Europe at least. And besides maybe Drawley, right? But he was kind of taken right away to Falcons. So Stizzy is probably next up because, yeah, I mean, I just think his case with Vitality is going to go super well because it's going to be super, how do I explain this? Vitality has a system down. I don't know who the coach is going to be, if they've announced it yet, now that their coach is retired. But Zen and Exotic are grinders, man, and so is Stizzy. I think coming from Dignitas, he was grinding, but I think he's going to be boot camping a lot more. He's going to be around them a lot more. And so I think he's just going to get a lot better too. But his stock is already really, really high now. But this is my top 15 players whose stock has risen the most. Let me know if I've missed some players. There's definitely some players I really wanted to talk about who just missed out on this list. Let me know who you guys think I left out. Subscribe, like the video if you did like it, and I'll keep pumping these out. And as always, I'll see all of y'all in the next video.